And I just think, do we have these special people anymore? And like I said, it could all, the whole full point could go down the bin if what he did was true. But what a way to break down someone's influence if it is a lie, if there is that conspiracy, if he was set up, if it's all bigger than you ever thought it was. There's much more to it, because it's dangerous to have someone who was that influential, who's not under control. And you get into a bit of a woohoo and a conspiracy when you start talking like that. But what if? Just think about it. What if? How sad is that? That someone who's tried that hard to literally make the world a better place has been ridiculed, and that their image has turned into what it's turned into. Everyone knows when you talk about Michael Jackson, we don't debate the talent that he had, the greatness that he achieved, the beauty that he put out there. No one debates that, but we all say, yeah, but what about that thing? And it's sad. It's sad if it's not true, because it's sad that there can be some people out there that are that evil, that can want to destroy such goodness. And like I said, we'll never know, but fuck me, it'd be sad if that was the case. Thanks for watching. Just want to say I do the best bits from every video on TikTok, Instagram and Shorts. I also post this on Spotify, so if you don't finish it and you want to listen to it instead, check out that, links in the description. Just a reminder as well that have a little bit of patience with my videos. I'm not entertaining you with my edits. The value's in what I'm saying, the thoughts that I'm having, to spark a debate, to spark talk about this topic. But yeah, enjoy. So today could be the last video that I film in this car. Getting a new car, and a bit sad really. All the memories I've made in this car, the videos I've filmed in this car. This is where I started. A little bit sad, but we must get a new car. Need a bigger car, and we'll see what it's like filming in that car. So yeah, cherish this last video in this car, all 3 viewers. So today we're gonna talk about Michael Jackson, because I've just watched his film last night again in the cinema, and I was gonna film it the first time, but then I was scrolling and getting loads of stuff about him, and thought I'd simmer on it a bit, and then we decided to go watch it again. And I must say, it's a phenomenal film. I thought it was a phenomenal film, but he's not really my time. I listened to him growing up, and I was a big fan of him growing up, listening to his music. But it wasn't my era. It was past me to really truly understand how big he was. And by the idea of things, I don't think anyone's ever come close to how big he was. He shut down everything, everywhere he went. And the film's fascinating. If you get a chance to watch it, I definitely recommend go watching it. And I have to talk about this caveat when it comes to Michael Jackson. When it comes to those allegations that he touched those kids. Because it's a huge fucking factor with this guy. Because it's one of the worst things you can do in the world. If he did it, that changes everything. Every aspect of this guy. But if he didn't do it, and we'll never know, but if he didn't do it, that changes every aspect of things as well. And the last piece of content I consumed before watching this film was that documentary of the two lads that said that he did do things with them. And so that's the sort of sour taste I've got in my mouth before watching this film. And I mean, I watched that documentary years ago. But every time his music comes on, there's that caveat. There's that thing of like, oh, he's fantastic, but did he do it? And if he did it, you can't listen to someone like that. And it's a shame that one, he's dead and there's no defending. You can't say anything, you can't speak about it. So it's always going to be up in the air. But I'll say, I don't think he did it. Again, there's many possibilities, but I don't think he did it. My gut feeling is, I don't see it. With what he was singing about and what it seemed that he was like, you can't imagine it. However, the doubt, because I can't say he 100% didn't do it, but the doubt in my mind is, one, he was on a lot of drugs, a lot of painkillers, and you don't know the side effects. Not saying that's his excuse, but he might have not been himself. There might have been an influence. And then two, his upbringing. You don't know what his dad's done to it. You don't know what that environment has been like growing up. Has his dad done something to him, to the family? You get these people that do that, and when it's been done to you, you see it more as a norm, and you see a pattern. You see the pattern that it carries on. So they're my two doubts. I don't believe necessarily the people that come out and say what they say, because he's a star. Anyone could make it up, and something like that, it's hard to disprove. I mean, he went to court and he wasn't found guilty. So it's up for debate, and it's a little caveat that has to be said when it comes to it. And it's always on the back of my mind, but watching this film pushes that away. I think it brings back the magic of Michael Jackson, because we forget the career. We forget what he's done. Since he was, 10? He's been a huge star. That's got to fuck with your head. Since he was 10, he's had this talent. And it's fascinating, because I always wonder when it comes to things, we say it's talent, a God-given gift, but it sounds like he was worked down to the bone at becoming perfect in this art. And I always wonder, can this be created? I don't know. There are a lot of factors that go into it. But I think when it comes to this film, it really shows the magnitude of his talent. And I heard someone say last week that if Michael Jackson did it all again, here and now, he wouldn't be as big. It wouldn't be the same. And I disagree with it, because he was the first, in a sense, to be that big, to show that much talent. I mean, you look at the artists today, you might have someone who's a singer, who's a decent singer, who's a good writer. But do you have someone that's a great singer, a great performer, someone who dances as good as that, who's as iconic and has that many influential moves and that sort of style? It does seem one of a kind. And then added on top that his vocals are incredible, and his personality is incredible, and his situation, his environment he's grown up in is very unique. All that mashed together into one star. I think we don't really value what we've got to experience. And I wonder what it was like sometimes at that time for the people that were at his concerts, that did meet it. Wonder what they think now. And talent like that and creativity like that always fascinates me. Always fascinates me. It fascinates me because, especially with him, I wonder if it's worth it. You just have this love for something, yet you've got this fame and this money and this influence surrounded around it. And I think everyone aims for that. The money, the influence, the fame, the freedom. And none of us really aim to find something that we love that much, that we get obsessed with that much, that we transform it into this work of art, into this meaningful thing. And I wonder if Michael Jackson was a kid today, like that, what that person was saying, would he make it today? There's so many factors, because is that kid scrolling on a phone? Does that ruin it all? And what is this world with technology? What is it killing when it comes to something like the possibility of that? Because we're numbed, we're dumbed. We're entertained too much, where we don't entertain ourselves anymore. And it doesn't really give the possibility and the chance of sparking such a love for something like, I guess, what Michael Jackson loved so much when it comes to music. Honing your skill in something, that you become the best in it. And I am fascinated with this idea of perfectionism. These characters that work so fucking hard and can never reach what they dream of, never get there, and what that struggle is like. And building this career, I mean, I do these videos and I'm sat there watching the film and seeing him have this intention to become the greatest. And I used to think like that. I used to think I want to be the greatest. Not in these videos, because I weren't doing them at the time, but just in something, I want to be the best. And as I've got a little bit older, I do debate about that idea. I do debate about aiming to be the best. Because like I said, Michael Jackson seems like he's got it all. Yet the thing I now look at and go, what would I want the most out of his life? It would probably be the talent. Not the fame, not the money, not the influence. Because you know that wrecks you. He didn't want it anymore as he got older. He hated to tour. It was too much, and it would become too much. And it's like, do we forget that maybe the point is just to do something that you love, something you have passion for? I think that's one of the things I recognize in Michael Jackson when it comes to it, everything that he does. It's the passion involved. The passion in his dancing, the passion in his voice when he's singing, the passion in the words that he's saying, that he wants a better world. Now, whether it's all fake or not, you'll never know, but it doesn't seem fake. It seems true. This sensitive boy is creating this art. And how many big stars, people that big, I mean, it's like I said, it might not even be possible to get that big anymore. How many of them are kind, are nice, are thinking of a better world? Whether it's true or not, whether that was realistic or was it just a show? Was it just the entertainment? You'll never know. But it fascinates me. It fascinates me because there's not been another Michael Jackson. There's not been anyone close that shows that much passion, that boldness. Like I did a video a couple of videos ago about Bob Dylan, and there's this passion for change. There's this passion for meaning. And I wonder if it's a little bit gone. There are certain people out there that will vouch for that. But how many people will stand up on that cross and die for something like that they believe in? I don't think there's that many. I think what fascinates me the most is how complicated all this is. And I just think, do we have these special people anymore And like I said, it could all, the whole full point could go down the bin if what he did was true. But what a way to break down someone's influence if it is a lie, if there is that conspiracy, if he was set up, if it's all bigger than you ever thought it was. There's much more to it, because it's dangerous to have someone who was that influential, who's not under control. And you get into a bit of a woohoo and a conspiracy when you start talking like that. But what if? Just think about it. What if? How sad is that? That someone who's tried that hard to literally make the world a better place has been ridiculed, and that their image has turned into what it's turned into. Everyone knows when you talk about Michael Jackson, we don't debate the talent that he had, the greatness that he achieved, the beauty that he put out there. No one debates that, but we all say, yeah, but what about that thing? And it's sad. It's sad if it's not true. Because it's sad that there can be some people out there that are that evil that can want to destroy such goodness. And like I said, we'll never know. But fuck me, it'd be sad if that was the case. Because it's creepy. It's creepy that he's sleeping in the bed with kids, unless he's doing it for the care. That there's that much love and care there, and so much honesty and innocence, which sounds like it when you listen to the interviews. He's not defensive in a way. He's in his own bubble, his own ideas, his own way of thinking. That is normal for him, and it is okay if it's innocent. It's so kind. But it's so fucking weird on the other hand if it's not that. If it's anywhere near not being that, even just the slightest, it's fucking creepy. And it fascinates me that there's such a fine line between that love and kindness and the creepiness. Because a lot of us don't understand people's lives when you're not walked in their shoes. And it's such a complicated situation. There's so many factors, there's so much information that's involved with his life, that piecing this puzzle together is a fucking problem, because there's so many factors and you don't know what to think. But removing all that and you look at what he does, you can't argue that you could say he's the greatest. If you remove that caveat, he's the greatest. And something like that, it's weird how it just can dampen everything. How it can influence that much. And it's sick and twisted if it's a lie. But I just wonder about the future and today. And I just wonder about the world, and will you get those sort of people back? You haven't seen it in a while. There seems to be too much control, too much influence to prevent that in a natural sort of way. And does anyone even want that? Does anyone want that much fame? Does anyone want that much influence where you literally can't go outside? You can't have any friends. You've grown up as a child not having friends. You're in your own bubble. You can't experience the true beauty in the world because too many people are obsessed with you. The sacrifice that takes for someone now to want that, after you see all these celebrities, all these people at the top, and you hear that they're still not happy, and you think, how the fuck are you not happy? How can you be complaining when you've got millions in the bank? Michael Jackson's case, billions in the bank, and you're still not happy. Still a crisis. How the fuck is that possible? I guess that's really the challenge in life, is figuring out your inner self, figuring it out. How do you experience that true love for the world and the true wanting to be here, that true wanting to live life to the fullest, wanting to sacrifice? All part of this crazy world, I guess. But yeah, if you liked Michael Jackson, if you don't like Michael Jackson, go watch the fucking film. It's fascinating. It's an excellent film. How good the fella looks in terms of being as close to Michael as he can. I think he's the only one that could get it that close. I don't know enough, but yeah, great film. Thanks for watching. Peace.